I'm gonna make my mother a birthday cake. So to start, I'm going to make a batch of brownies. I have everything weighed out and measured out. In here, I have 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. They are not chocolate chips, even though they look like chocolate chips. A cup of unsalted butter, 1 1/4 cups of golden brown sugar or light brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 whole eggs, 2 egg yolks, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I have, how much flour is it again? I have to read my own book, okay? 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour and 1/4 of a cup plus a tablespoon of Dutch processed cocoa. First things first, I'm going to put this chocolate onto a pot of warm water and allow it to melt. Okay, so normally this is when I add both my sugars, light brown sugar and granulated sugar, but I saw a post on Instagram recently by a food scientist, and she suggested mixing the sugars with eggs first and they melt better. I'm gonna try it her way. And I'm going to whisk all of this together and then add it to the melted chocolate and butter. Ew. I'm not gonna waste any of this. Now I wanna make sure it's fully incorporated, but I don't wanna over mix. You never wanna over mix a brownie. I'm gonna fold in the flour and the cocoa. Oh, I didn't follow my own instructions of preheating the oven. My God, yo. Come on. I mean, the good thing is I have a professional baking oven and it heats really fast. Did that sound like bragging, Eli? I just didn't mean it to sound like I was trying to brag like my oven is better than yours. It is, but that's not what I meant. I just wanted to show you what the brownies look like when they're baked. Can you see that, Eli? Look at that nice skin. They're baked, but I have to let them cool completely before I start to build this up as a cake. Okay, it's time to make one of my favorite things in the world, caramel. For this recipe, you need sugar, water, whipping cream, and unsalted butter. You could also make this with salted butter if you wanted it to be a bit salty. I'm gonna pour my water into my pot and then I'm going to sprinkle the sugar over it. I like putting the water first to make sure the sugar is saturated. In here, this is 1/2 cup of whipping cream and I've gone ahead and heated it up a little. You just wanna heat it a little or defrost it. You don't want it to be cold because there's such a drastic temperature difference between the piping hot sugar and cold cream from the fridge that it really bubbles up and you can burn yourself. So normally my recipe calls for 1/4 cup of butter and I've decided to add 1/3 cup because I want it to be extra rich. Put your sieve right over it and this way we can pour that piping hot caramel into the butter. It will start to melt and it will also stop the caramel from cooking any further. Come over to the stovetop, kids. I don't want any sugar granules burning at the bottom without my knowledge. Turn it up to high heat. So the lid is on, and when I start to see this bubble and boil, I'll remove the lid. All right, that was good. It's a little darker than I wanted it, but it's still good. I'm just gonna let it melt the butter naturally, and then I will give it a nice stir. I'm going to set this aside to cool completely. Woo, hot stuff. Now I'm gonna make my 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. The 3 ingredients are 1 cup of sugar, 1 egg, and 1 cup of smooth peanut butter. The first thing I want to do is whisk together the egg with the sugar. Now I'm going to add my peanut butter. This feels like it won't come together at first because it's so thick, but eventually it does. 1 good stir and scrape down the sides, make sure everything is combined. Now I need to chill this dough for 30 minutes and then I'm going to scoop it out and bake it. Oh boy. Okay, that is beautiful. Well, normally I do the fork design because you know that's very traditional of peanut butter cookies, but I don't think I have to do that as she does it. I'm gonna take these cookies to the oven. They bake around 8 to 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. Keep an eye on them. So what I'm gonna do now is roll some slabs of fondant to cover the sides of my planter box. See, when I cut through it, you saw like air bubbles? That's why I need to knead it to get those out. Otherwise, when I roll, they appear on the surface, and that's why I have the pin to pop them. Oh, shoot, that was excellent.
I can't believe this happened.
I mean, that was an excellent catch. I'm going to mix some paint and start to paint the wood grain. I'm going to make a peanut butter cake. So what I'm going to do is add some butter. If this was a recipe that wasn't oil-based, I'd be more upset about what happened. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna put my brown sugar in first. Brown sugar, golden brown sugar. I have vegetable oil, smooth peanut butter. This recipe is on the blog at howtocakeit.com, and vanilla. With a paddle, I'm going to cream all of this together. My eggs are cracked and ready to go. This is buttermilk. And then this is my all-purpose flour, to which I'm going to add baking powder, baking soda, and salt. And then I'll just mix all this together. So eggs will be next, then I'll alternate wet and dry, and then finally peanut butter chips. This is optional, your choice. You could also do it with chocolate chips. I'm gonna pop this in the oven. For the base of my mom's cake, the brownie is going to be at the base because it is the heaviest part. I spread a little bit of peanut butter on the board, and that's just to stop the brownie from moving. And I'm going to cut my peanut butter cake. Whoop. So now I'm going to layer this into two. Where to start? Oh my God, I forgot about the cookies. Oh my God, they're being layered in here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, like.
Oh, maybe they were like a side attraction.
Oh no, I'm going to pipe some chocolate buttercream as a fence. I need to chill this so that the peanut butter doesn't push it away. I'm gonna spread a little bit of pure peanut butter. Peanuts, salted peanuts. Kind of want this cake to be like some kind of a chocolate bar. You know what I mean? Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just a dot of chocolate buttercream in all the gaps, and then that will help the cake to stick. I'm gonna spread a thin layer of caramel. Now for the pretzels. Oh, that is, do you see that? Woo, okay. So I'm gonna make some dirt for my planter box. I'm using a combination of Oreos and Fudgios. I didn't even know they started to make double stuffed Fudgios. Yeah, they do. For the planter box, I need to bury these little bottles inside. I'm using 6. And this way I can put a little bit of water and the flower stems will fit in these. Okay, so I'm going to ice the sides. I ran out of ganache. Thank goodness I had some brown sugar buttercream, because this is really just to make sure that the wood panels stick to the sides of the cake. Okay, so I need the slats to be taller than the cake so it will hold the dirt. I enjoy this. Now, after the dirt's in, I want to have some little reinforcements in the corners. So I'm going to cut those out of this fondant. I'm going to work on painting these raw edges just a little bit. Right now it just looks too flat. So I have to be careful not to touch the already painted portions, but what I'm gonna do is sink the bottles in now. I've just covered the opening with clean paper towel because I don't want cake crumbs to get inside or Oreo and Fudgio crumbs to get inside. So I'm gonna sink these in, and when I'm ready, I'll take these out and then I'll cut flowers and put them in. Okay, so it's time to add the dirt, which is just Oreos and Fudgios that I put in the food processor. And now I'm gonna use the dropper to place water in flowers. So I'm thinking I'll alternate colors, yeah. You wanna try and buy organic flowers that haven't been sprayed, or maybe you're lucky enough to have your own garden, then you can just pluck them from your own garden. That's what I used to do with my mom's flowers. I wanted to make a little sign that said Mom's Garden. There you have it. It's Mom's garden. My mom, she used to love to garden, especially flowers. So I wanted to make her this planter box. Of course, I'm not cutting my mom's cake. don't even ask me to do that. So everyone help wish my mom a happy 83rd birthday, and I'll see you next week.